Part 3, Completing the Lesson. What is a lesson memo? Lesson memo is a written record of what had transpired or what was discussed during the lesson. Please take note, you must submit a lesson memo after conducting the lesson, as it also serves as your attendance. If you fail to submit the lesson memo for a conducted class, the system will automatically mark you absent at 12 noon Beijing time the following day with the penalty of $3. A lesson memo does not need to be filled out or submitted if you or the student was absent. Remember to save screenshots of successful posted lesson memo as backup. After conducting a lesson with your student, you need to go to the Lesson History tab to submit a lesson memo. Look for your student's entry and click on Done so you can access the lesson memo page. Fill out the lesson memo page. Make sure you leave at least one correction each for Part 1 pronunciation and Part 2 grammar and syntax. Dashes or NA are considered unqualified entries. Students may complain when you submit unqualified lesson memos. Once you submitted your lesson memo, the word undone will be changed to posted. This is an indicator that you have successfully submitted your lesson memo. The time of completion will also be recorded by the system. Always remember to finish the lesson memo in order for your student to know your expert's opinion on his or her performance, and also for you to keep track of your student's progress. Please avoid absences at all costs. If missing a lesson cannot be avoided, please inform your lesson support team as soon as possible. If you are absolutely sure that you cannot conduct a book lesson, inform your lesson support via chat. A penalty of $3 will apply to all missed lessons if reported less than 2 hours before the lesson time. Your account will also be prohibited or locked from opening slots every time you incur at least 4 notified absences or 1 no notification absence per cutoff. Be mindful of your unbooked slots. It is your responsibility as a teacher to close it in any event that you cannot attend to it due to absolute reasons. When your account is locked, you can still log into my page and conduct book lessons. Reliability in the platform is very important. It is not enough that you have excellent communication skills. You should also make sure that you are able to attend and conduct every single book lesson. Reliable teachers build a good reputation for themselves in the platform. As a teacher, how would you want to be remembered by your students? Reliable teachers get more bookings because they have more satisfied students, who in turn become the regular students. The telephone reminder link can be seen once you go to your Lesson History tab on your My page. Look for the student's entry or schedule and click the Tell Reminder link to use this function. Again, this can only be used once per lesson and use it only when it is necessary. Telephone reminder availability if the student is late is 10 minutes before the class until the 5th minute into the lesson time. Due to certain incidents, your student might not be able to attend the lesson even if he or she has booked your open slot. If that happens, you have to mark the student absent. And how do you mark the student absent? Let's turn to the next slide. Here are the steps in marking a student absent. First, click Mark Student Absent. Second, choose the reason for your student's absence based on the situation. Third, upload screenshots as proof that your student wasn't in for the lesson and include the timestamps. And lastly, hit Submit. When do you tag your student absent? You can tag your student absent after 15 minutes of waiting. If you have already marked the student absent but he or she requested to proceed with the lesson, please request lesson support for lesson change status. You can still get 50% of your payment if your student is absent, as long as you were able to successfully mark them as absent. Here are important reminders when completing a lesson. Always conduct a full 25-minute lesson. If the whole materials was discussed and finished before 25 minutes, do exercises, knowledge check, and recap to consume the full 25 minutes. You can mark a student absent 15 minutes into the lesson time. Once student is tagged absent, you may leave the AC classroom. Please do not post a lesson memo. Always enter AC classroom 2 to 3 minutes before lesson time to avoid being late. For your first lesson of the day, it is strongly advised to log in 30 minutes early to launch all necessary tools and be knowledgeable of updates and recent reminders. In case student is late, say less than 15 minutes into the lesson, please conduct the lesson to the best of your ability and end it on the 25th minute as defined on the lesson details. Here are the tips on how to ace your students' expectations and avert complaints. Avoid missing book lessons. Avoid entering the classroom late. Conduct a full 25-minute lesson. Always open your video camera. Make sure your internet connection is stable. Teacher's attitude is very important. Post accurate lesson memo. Don't post a lesson memo if you or your student is absent. Ensure that your teaching environment meets the 5-1 Talk standards, such as the following. For the background, use the 5-1 Talk tarp or have a kiddified solid white background. For the lighting, make sure there's enough lighting in your workstation. And of course, your attire, you should always look professional and maintain proper grooming when conducting classes. Get ready for the Part 3 assessment.